yummy morning, and these are all out of the bisque, and I've already been using them, which is absolutely fantastic because I've had to do a couple of repairs. And look at these. Oh my gosh. Good stuff. You and me, babe. You and me, babe. There's just nothing else like you. We're ready to go. I think you'll be amazed at the difference in the way these look before they're fired and the way they look after they're fired, especially if you've never fired underglaze to vitreous without a clear coat on it. It's really stunning, actually. Here we go. I'm so excited. But first, hot chocolate. I got a big old drip on the handle of this pot. Urgh! I guess that butterfly wanted to be bisqued again with the underglaze on it. Well, if you've been with me long, you know that glazing is really my least favorite part of pottery. And the bottom line is, I'm just not any good at it. And the parts that you're not any good at, those are the parts that you like the least. And how do I know I'm not any good at it? Because this is pretty normal for me. And so I end up with these really gorgeous pieces that I can't seem to get any glaze on. And I don't know why. And even this little guy here, I mean, I put the glaze on it, I didn't touch it. I went inside, I came back outside, and it's got this big old blotch on the side of it. It's like everything that I try, there's... so frustrating. So now, these two have to be complete, these three have to be completely and totally washed off and redone. I don't see any other option. And that means that my nice full kiln load is not full anymore. Especially when you consider the butterfly that has to be refired because I waxed part of the handle. It's a love-hate relationship, really. really want to get these fired before I do too much more of the work that I have ready for underglaze. So I found a couple of pieces in the deep dark recesses of the shelves. But I tell you what, this whole problem that I have with my personal ability to put glaze on a pot in a uniform fashion, it's a big deal, and I don't know what to do about it. It's kiln opening time. I think you'll be super pumped to see these test outs. I've kind of already peed. Okay, as per usual, we have some mixed results. However, I could not be happier with this. Oh, okay, well, I guess I could be happier if I hadn't broken this one, but what can you do? Can you believe the difference in the vibrancy? So people are like, well, if I leave it raw, I'm not gonna get those vibrant colors, and that's just not true. Now, I will say this, in the blues and the purples, this is very, like, look at this one, very, very navy, more royal. So yeah, I mean, there's exceptions to every rule, but super fan of that. The other thing is you'll get transparency in a, when you put the underglaze, when you put the clear glaze over the top. So look at this, see, blue with the clear coat, you get a lot of transparency, particularly on that dark clay, right? Particularly with that one color. You know, that totally depends on the clay itself, but every one of these, you know, I painted until I thought, oh, that's enough paint. Yeah, turns out on the amethyst, we need a little extra paint. But on a vast majority of them, you know, what I think is good enough is good enough. And now I know on this color, amethyst, what I think is good enough is not good enough. I need to keep going. Takeaways that we have here is what colors turn transparent under clear and what colors you need an extra coat and what colors you don't. You can see it here in the aqua real good too. See the aqua right here where my thumb is, it kind of needs an extra coat. Right here, you put that extra coat on and it's great. So really, really good, not so good. But then you go over here to the yellows and they look exactly the same. The top where I put the extra coat and the bottom where I didn't. They look the same. If I'm working with this color, I don't need extra. If I'm working with this color, I need extra. The other thing that I learned was reds. So on the reds, this is T-Mix. On the reds, the clear glaze clouds. And the bubbles are in there. Is that pinholing? Not necessarily. Because this glaze did not pinhole over here on the blues at all. That is not a flaw in the clear. The clear's fine over here and on all the other clays. That is a flaw over the red on the T-Mix. How complicated is that? Over red, it's cloudy on the B-Mix. Now on the T-Mix, in this color pink, we have some pinholes. But on the B-Mix, the pink is fine. And there you can see the difference in the texture on the B mix versus the texture on the T mix. On the white stoneware, so you don't have that glassy smooth texture. On the Trinity Spectacular, but you also don't have the clouding that was going on over the top of the whiter glaze. That's the Buffalo Wallow, and here's the Cinco Rojo. So it's kind of crazy. All of the reds did that, but nothing else really did. I pretty much put a double coat of the clear on these. I think a single coat of the clear that I have at least is plenty. We have some refired things. So I refired this hoping that it would give this a little bit more body. I think it did. These refires had some crawling on them, and now no worries. So love that. Recovered that piece. Recovered this piece. Had crawling on it. And almost recovered this piece. But oh my gosh, it's so cute. I love it. Okay, so this one crawled. And, you know, obviously I had a hard time with this one. It's like this green glaze is fantastic. It's perfect specific gravity. It's perfect everything. It did perfect on everything I put it on. So I highly recommend Seafoam in the Hasselbreath Roy Mastering Cone 6 glazes. This is oatmeal. And oatmeal, the last time I fired it, looked like this. Brown. The vast contrast of consistency here. That's what I don't like. I'm not concerned about the cup being messed up. But I'm a little concerned about my glaze being messed up. You know what I mean? But after glazing this cup, I thought, okay, done with that cup. I don't care if it looks terrible. And it does. But I kind of knew it was going to look terrible before I put it into the kiln to begin with. I was kind of a little spent. The Happy Christmas things that came out were these. Purple on top with the Seafoam on the bottom. Really love that. Really love that. This has both the June Perry Red, which turns out purple in my studio, and it also has a dip of the Raspberry, which is in the Hasselbreath Roy book. And I really love both of those layered over each other is like the perfect color. Here it is all together. You got the pink, you got both of them, and you got the purple. And so yes, there is a time and a place for the pink. There is a time and a place for the purple, but this is just yummy. So speaking of the pink, this is Hasselbreath Roy Raspberry. It is very, very pink for me, and it started to burn out. This one will get refired, however I decide to refire it. So this will be for sale. This will be for sale. The fairy houses will be for sale. This will be for sale. Love it. Looks fantastic. And then I refired these. The door was real splotchy on this one, so refired that. I put some more glaze on top of it. It was kind of thin. And then this one was one of my very, very first fairy houses, like very first fairy houses. And I put a glaze on top of it that turned out looking more like this color instead of green. And I just didn't like it. So I refired it with this over the top. Came out all splotchy. I mean, it kind of looks kind of fall leaf-ish, which is kind of cool. But if you love this the way it is, then send me a message, because I'm probably going to refire it. Unless somebody says, I want it just the way it is because I love it. And then lastly, I fired this bowl variegated blue. If you don't have the specific gravity just right, turns out green. Ask me how I know. So this will be fired again so that it turns this beautiful blue right here. And that pretty much covers it. This is nifty. This is really nifty. I got some painting to do, guys. Whew! Thanks for coming. Pink? No, raspberry. Oh. Wait a